Dante is a half-human, half-demon abomination whose father left to get milk and never came back. But that didn't stop him from being an upright citizen who hunts demons during the night and day to keep humanity safe. On one such nights, a woman and her baby is being attacked by some type of shadow demon in an alleyway, and just as it is about to choke her out, Dante emerges out of the dark with 2 guns and begins shooting like a true American. They try to put an end to him, but he majestically eliminates every one of them, which frees the woman. She thanks him for saving them, but he feels a strange presence and takes a closer look at the baby while the woman gathers her stuff off the floor. The baby turns into a demon and tries to take Dante's necklace, but as he pulls his gun out to distribute bullets, the mother screams for him to get away from her baby and then throws her purse into his face before escaping into the street. He doesn't get the chance to explain what he saw to her, and by the time he makes it out of the alleyway, the woman is nowhere to be seen. Elsewhere at the Vatican, a bunch of American mercenaries infiltrates and take the guards out to steal some artifacts. While engaging in their grand theft, what appears to be a bunny demon interrupts their party and goes straight to claim a sword, which he says belonged to a demon knight named Sparta. It turns out that these guys were hired by the rabbit monster, so the mercenaries' concern now is to assure that they will be paid for their job. However, it seems like this demon has a deep hatred for humans, so he decides to unalive the people he hired in a very twisted way. The Vatican guards arrive with their primitive weapons, but they soon run away when the crazy rabbit blows up the whole place and says that this is now the age of the demons. It doesn't take long until the event is broadcasted throughout the whole world by the media outlets. The news leads to all sorts of conspiracy theories, with some even blaming Russia for the attack, while a small group think it was demons from hell looking to terrorize the world. But at the White House, a secret meeting is being held by all important personnel. A presentation is being given by a theoretical physicist named Dr. Fisher, who believes this to be an attack by demons. He works for an independent dimensional security firm called Darkcom, which is funded by private investors like the Vice President of America. Dr. Fisher explains that demons are natives from a different parallel universe and are somewhat related to Homo sapiens. He believes that a distinct branch of Homo sapiens entered the other universe where they adapted and evolved to survive in the harsh environment known commonly on Earth as hell, and as a result, they became much stronger with special abilities. Fortunately for Earth, the portals that allows for traveling between the worlds only permits the lesser demons to pass through because of their instability. Their meeting is interrupted by a messenger who has come in with body cam footage of the mercenaries, which shows the rabbit talking about how the gates of hell will soon open. He also mentions that the only way to catch him is to get a hunter, so the vice orders for every demon hunter to be brought to him. The president has nothing to say because it looks like the vice is the one running the whole show. The special force does what they are ordered, and they capture a number of hunters for questioning. One of them folds and gives information on a man named Enzo, who arranged a job for the demon bunny, so a special team wastes no time and also capture Enzo for interrogation. Fortunately for them, Enzo is one of those spineless background characters who folds under any pressure. He reveals how the rabbit wanted him to hire a particular demon hunter named Dante. Dr. Fisher pulls up Dante's records and figures that this is the hunter the demon wants for his next plan. Enzo tells them that Dante had a troubled past. His father was not in the picture, and his mother and twin brother were eliminated by demons when he was just a kid. Enzo informs the Vice that this is all he knows, and he wouldn't be able to help any further, but that doesn't matter because the special force has already located the rabbit. However, the entire team was exterminated apart from one survivor. We come to learn that the sword that was stolen has important significance in bridging the two worlds. Back in the day, Sparta, who was the knight of the demon king, rebelled against his own kind and sided with humanity. With the power of his sword and a magic amulet, he created a barrier which prevented the two worlds from intertwining. He then split the amulet in half, so it would be difficult to find. The sword has a slot where the amulet sits, and it is this stone that the demon rabbit needs so that he can completely break the barrier between the two realms, allowing all the demons to pass through and destroy the human world. He already has half of the stone. He just needs the other half, which Dante has. The vice president refuses to allow this to happen since he believes it is his divine duty to put an end to the demons. Not long after, the man who survived, named Anders, comes in to give important information on what the rabbit told him after scarring his face. He reveals to them that the demon already knows where the other amulet is, and his plan is to set Dante up and retrieve it. All the while, Dante goes to a breakfast bar where he is ambushed by the shape-shifting demon who appears as his dead brother. He recognizes the demon as the same one who turned into a baby from the previous night, so the fighting begins, or rather, continues. The demon tries very hard to take the amulet, but he dodges with ease and puts some bullets into the monster. However, this isn't enough to stop it. The demon finds an opening and pins Dante to the wall, which allows him to take the amulet, but Dante unleashes his inner strength and punches the creature into the wall before retrieving his special necklace. He confronts and questions the shapeshifter, who, truth be told, now looks like Jabba the Hutt on why it is after his amulet. But it responds by saying that Dante is blind for not knowing about his real identity. The monster then turns into a bat and escapes. Dante is just left slightly confused, because as far as he knows, he is a human. All the while, there is a briefing with the hired bounty hunters who are surprised to see the vice president giving a presentation on their objective to obtain Dante's necklace. He warns the hunters of Dante's ability and gives them the go-ahead to use all they have. They are given the location, and when a picture of their target is shown, they start laughing at Dante, saying he looks like a weak, pathetic loser who likes to dye his hair. But you and I know that these meatheads stand no chance against Dante, who, quite frankly, will toast their asses. One of the guys who looks like Frankenstein halfway through the surgery tells them that they shouldn't be laughing so much because soon enough they will all end up in body bags. He recalls taking a job with Dante and was amazed by how dangerous the guy was. Dante even saved his life, so he declines the job, saying that no amount of money can get him to go on this self-annihilation mission. But before he can complete the sentence, the Vice offers them $500,000 to whomever can bring Dante in with the amulet. However, a bonus will be issued to whomever can bring him in alive. Halfway, Frankenstein doesn't hesitate and sits back down, willing to risk it all for $500,000. After the briefing, the hunters are allowed to leave and prepare for the contract, apart from one. The man with the cowboy hat is told by Mary to hold it there. One of the special ops soldiers closes the door and Mary confronts the man for being a demon. She presents their methods of how they eliminate monsters with a special bullet, which explodes the moment it comes in contact with demon DNA. What gave this monster away was his bootleg shape-shifting into a human. His proportions and terrible smell sealed the deal, so Mary rips his shirt off to reveal a weird heart and 4 strange features that look like mommy milkers that are ready to feed 4 demon babies. The guy fully transforms into his true form, and my goodness does he look disgusting. He looks like a mixture between my ex and my other ex. The monster leaps and goes straight for the Vice, but Mary saves the day just in time with her high-tech hovering boots that allows her to more or less fly. And before the monster can even recover, she shoots it in the head with the special bullet which explodes its head. She seems to have a strong hatred for demons as she spits on it and calls it a devil spawn mofo. The one who survived the White Rabbit attack named Anders has been added to the team, and Enzo is brought in to be briefed on what his role in this operation will be. Later that night, Enzo goes over to Dante's house to kickstart the operation, but he is greeted with a gun pressed against his head. Dante discloses that the last mission he went on was a setup for a demon to take his necklace, and since Enzo is the one who commissioned it, Dante thinks that he is a green snake in green grass. But Enzo denies it and gives an explanation that Dante believes. Dante knows that he isn't only there to pay the rest of the money for the job. He is well aware that Enzo has set him up, but he doesn't care because he knows that Enzo is a stunted coward who looks like an evolved rat. Despite all of this, Enzo warns him that the people out there have been hired by the vice president to take his necklace, so he suggests that Dante should just hand over the amulet and everything will be just fine. However, Dante rejects his proposal and says that the necklace was given to him by his late mother to keep safe, so he will never let it go. Soon after, some of the bounty hunters break into his house, but he has prepared for them by using Enzo as a distraction while he takes out a number of the hitmen with pool balls. The rest of them understand how dangerous their target is, so they open fire. But you know Dante got that demon blood coursing through his veins, so he dodges them all with ease and knocks them all out with pure martial might without eliminating any of them. The rest of them make their way up the stairs, and Dante prepares for them by blasting some music to hand over an ass whooping on the beat. The second wave of fools suffer the same result as the first wave of fools, however. One of them manages to shoot Dante in close range, which introduces him to the Donut Club. But that demon DNA kicks in, and he begins to heal up faster than Donald Trump imposing tariffs. The guy freaks out and attempts to run away, But Dante knocks him out too, along with the third wave of fools. Meanwhile, in a camper van, the special team sees how Dante healed up quickly and do not understand how that is possible. At this point, Mary is on the rooftop ready to test her theory that Dante may be a demon and may have some type of connection to Sparta. She joins the fight, and within 2 seconds, she uses some kind of harpoon to take the necklace. By the time Dante realizes, it is too late, and she has escaped using a smokescreen. She doesn't get far until Dante catches up. They exchange bullets, and he manages to destroy one of her rocket boots. She comes closer and rips his shirt off thinking he is a demon. However, she is surprised to see a well-chiseled body under the clothes. If the roles were reversed, we all know Dante would have been canceled and ended up in jail, prison, and Guantanamo Bay. She now knows that Dante is half demon, half human, and before she can shoot him with the special bullet, he slices her weapon in half, which destroys the bullet. She makes a run for it, but Dante stops her in her tracks and saves her from falling to her death while apprehending her. He confronts her on her accusation of him being part demon, but she points out that it is impossible for humans to possess the type of abilities he is showcasing. He brushes that aside and locates his amulet and questions her on why everyone is after it. However, she doesn't give an answer and kicks him away. It turns out that she disguised a grenade as his amulet, so it explodes in his face while she escapes with the real one. Dante recovers and follows her, but he is led into a trap inside their truck where she shoots him with electrical bullets that immobilizes him. She also injects him with a chip that has the same formula used in the special bullets as insurance in case he escapes. It will detonate and eliminate him if he goes outside a certain radius from her. We get a glimpse as to why Mary hates demons so much. When she was a kid, she went to watch a monster movie with her parents since she was obsessed with them and enjoyed watching them being eliminated. As they made their way through the underground station at night, they noticed a strange hobo staring them out like they are the reason why he is homeless. Coincidentally, no one else happened to be at that station, so they decided to pick up the pace. Hobo Man wasn't ready for them to escape, so he followed them and slowly transformed into a demon. Mary's parents were ready to do 10 toes out of there, but when they turned around, their crazy daughter with half-red, half-green eyes was pointing a toy gun at the monster ready to protect humanity from the hideous creature. The hobo monster took offense to her bravery and leaped towards the girl, however. Her mother, who was equally as brave, run to her daughter to protect her, while the coward beta-bitch spineless father just stood there frightened out of his bald mind. But luckily for them, trained Sama came in clutch to save them and isekai'd the monster. The father looked knowing that he no longer wears the pants in the house, so to make up for his lack of manliness, he decided to report the incident to the police. However, they all laughed at him. Some time passed, and the father became obsessed by what he saw. He was a professor at a university, and his work involved researching the other realm. The monster's appearance is exactly what he needed to validate his theories, but of course he took his work too seriously and neglected his family, which led to an argument between him and his wife, while Mary watched on. The father's objective was to make himself powerful enough so that he can defeat whatever threat comes their way and protect his family. Months passed by, and this man was so focused on his research that he lost more of his hair. He even locked himself in his office for days and days to achieve his goal, which led to even more neglect of his wife and daughter. One day, he acquired a monster's hand, which allowed him to develop an injection he used on himself despite his wife trying to stop him from doing it. The man succeeded and injected himself while Mary was a witness to all of this. The experiment took a dark turn for the worse. He then changed into a monster and demolished his wife like she was continental breakfast. Mary saw how her father eliminated her mother, yet she didn't run. She stood bravely with a scalpel ready to cut her father down. So she dashed towards him, but the man slapped her into the bookshelf, which knocked down his Bunsen burner and caused a blaze. Her father caught on fire while she made an escape. When she turned back to see him one last time, he was slowly turning into a human again, but he had a deep look of sadness and regret in his eyes before meeting his demise. Years went by, and a grown-up Mary decided to join Darkcom, and that is how she found herself in the situation she is in the present day. They are escorting Dante along with the stone to their base in different vehicles. Dante has now recovered, but he is in special handcuffs that even he cannot break out of despite all his methods. The Vice calls Mary to get an estimation on their arrival and requests to speak to Dante. He is intrigued by Dante's abilities and wishes to use him for this fight against the demons. He acknowledges that Dante is part demon and believes that God has a plan for the half-demon. Mary is opposed to this idea and wonders if the president has approved, but the vice enlightens her that he is the one who makes the rules, and the president does whatever Vice President Baines tells him to do. All the while, Dr. Fisher is with the stone conducting experiments. He notices that the wave pattern from the amulet is changing, which means that the other half is getting closer. At this point, the convoy has been stopped by police due to a road closure. Anders, who is riding with Mary, tells her he will go and check it out. He takes the remote control for Dante's handcuffs without Mary noticing. But suddenly, a nearby building explodes, resulting in large debris falling and blocking the road completely. Up on another building, the rabbit has been waiting for them, so he shoots an RPG, which destroys a few of the vehicles. The rest of the team are ordered by the Vice to protect the amulet at all costs, so they exit the vehicle ready to engage their enemy. The rabbit shows up and deflects all their attacks. However, one of the special bullets hits him, but he doesn't die and instead heals up quickly. The special ops think that maybe he is an evolved demon, so they try engaging in hand-to-hand combat. But the rabbit doesn't have time to play about, so he knocks them out with a single attack. Elsewhere on the battlefield, Mary is fighting with 5 high-ranking demons using only 2 guns, and she is actually holding up. It looks like she has more plot armor than every MC combined. Meanwhile, Anders makes his way to Dr. Fisher and tells him to hand the stone over. The rabbit joins them in the truck and destroys the camera connection so that no one will witness what is going on. The rabbit orders Anders to give up the amulet. He complies because the monster has threatened to end his 2 daughters, so he has no choice but to betray his team. The rabbit combines the stones into one amulet, and an energy is emitted signifying the unity. The doctor is confused why the demon isn't using it to open the gate between the 2 worlds now that he has everything. But it turns out that he needs one more piece to the puzzle which is somehow linked to Dante. Dr. Fisher is angry by the evil presence that stands before him. So, in true geek fashion, he picks up a keyboard to attack the rabbit. However, the keyboard warrior is mortally wounded. He then injures Anders to not make it look suspicious that he is a traitor, and then drags him out of the vehicle. Dr. Fisher, in his last attempt of saving the world, throws a grenade towards the rabbit, but he deflects it back and closes the door, leaving the scientist to meet his demise in the toasty explosion. We see that the bunny has some blood device on his chest that keeps him alive. Anders knows that only Dante can save them, so he releases him using the controller he took from Mary. As soon as he is free, he picks up his sword and attacks the rabbit, but the monster aims the RPG towards a school bus full of kids, so Dante is forced to change trajectory and block the explosion to save the students. However, this was all a distraction for the monsters to make an escape. They get away with one of the vehicles after making a hole in the bridge which allows them to drive away on the road below. They also took Enzo prisoner. Dante refuses to let them escape, so he takes a motorbike and follows them. The high-ranking demons are ordered to deal with Dante, but he takes them out one by one. It seems as though the rabbit wants Dante to unleash his true demonic powers so that his objective of opening the portal can be completed. His eyes begin to turn red, and the bunny is excited to see this. The chase has taken him far away from Mary's radius, so the chip she injected into his neck explodes his face. The rabbit emerges out of the vehicle and confirms that Dante is the son of Sparta. He also says that he needs to push him harder so that he can fully unlock his demon powers. All the while, the shape-shifting demon confronts 2 survivors and eliminates one of them. He keeps the other alive so that he can imitate the human since he needs the living tissue of the one he is imitating in order for it to work. We cut to Mary, who reveals that she planted a chip inside the amulet, so they make preparations to ambush what they believe to be the operation base of the demons. She first goes over to Anders and praises him for his bravery on confronting the white rabbit. The shape-shifting demon who has taken the form of a human comes over to Mary and tells her that he is ready to join them on the ambush, and when Mary walks away, he reveals to Anders that he is a demon. The team arrive at the location and begin their infiltration without waiting for backup, because Mary believes that time is of the essence. But unfortunately for them, they have no means of escape now that huge steel doors have blocked the entrance. The team do not even have means of communicating with the outside. An announcement is given by the rabbit to some humanoid-looking demons who are residing in the building that if they are seen engaging with the humans in a friendly way, then they will be executed, so they all lock their doors. The team have no choice but to progress to the top floor in hopes of retrieving the amulet and perhaps finding an escape route. As they make their way through, one of them is eliminated by Cavalier, who is a high-ranking demon. They open fire, but the demon blocks all their shots and cuts them down so easily. They soon realize that this is an ambush when the other female high-ranking demon appears. The special soldiers absolutely stand no chance and are taken out one by one. Even all of Mary's team have been slain, leaving her as the only survivor. She manages to escape through the elevator, and she cannot comprehend what has just happened. As she tries very hard to escape through the corridors, she triggers a trap which poisons her a little bit. So she begins to hallucinate about her monster father and dead teammates. Cavalier, who did most of the elimination, finds her, and the chase continues. She manages to find a place to hide after pleading with a resident to allow her inside. He arrives at the door and orders the residents to open it. After he does a superficial check, he leaves believing that Mary isn't in there. She comes out of the closet and points her gun at the people who saved her because she now knows that they too are demons. She believes that they are working with the White Rabbit and the demon who was responsible for the majority of her team's death, but they explain that they are only here because they needed a way out of Makai, which is their world the humans call Hell. They tell Mary that their world was too toxic for life, and only the strongest demons can bear the toxic environment, so for them to survive and provide a better life for their kids, they had no choice but to accept the free offer the rabbit gave them when he turned up with a device that could open small portals between the two worlds. He then put them all inside the building since they cannot go outside and mingle with humans. They are essentially prisoners who are forced to do whatever the White Rabbit tells them. The bunny even uses the orphan demon kids for his experiments. After hearing them out, Mary has a clear understanding of what is happening, so she puts her gun down and promises to protect and save them all once her backup arrives. However, in the meantime, she exits the room and goes looking for the rabbit. Luckily for her, the poison has worn off a bit, so she stands a better chance. Elsewhere, Dante and Enzo have been captured and are being taken into a presidential plane where members of the government, including the vice, is being held captive. Dante is healing up nicely, and he has a flashback of the day his mother gave both him and his brother their necklaces to keep safe. Dante was given the red half, while his brother named Virgil was given the blue half. Dante regains consciousness and notices that he has been held captive again, but this time it's in an airplane. The Fire and Wind Monster brothers come in and play a video that the rabbit left behind for the prisoners. The rabbit discloses that Dante is the son of Sparta, and if he doesn't awaken his demon powers, then all the hostages are going to die since the plane is rigged with explosives. Dante doesn't want to accept the fact that he is half demon because he sees them as evil, but Enzo tells him that he has it all twisted because Sparta was a good demon who fought to protect humanity from the Demon King. The two monster brothers provoke Dante by calling him a coward who watched his mother and brother die while he hid. Dante refuses to take this disrespect and breaks out of his restraints and goes straight for the attack. It appears as though the brothers are purposely trying to provoke Dante so that he can unleash his devil trigger. They tag team his ass like they're on WWE, and Dante is struggling really hard to fight because of the mind games they are playing. They even cut him down and he looks defeated until he remembers his mother telling him that his father was a brave warrior who fought to protect and give them freedom. This memory triggers Dante, and his demon powers begins to manifest as his hand transforms. He easily blows them back and they recognize that he is ready, so they prepare to blow up the plane. However, the red demon is feeling a little bit arrogant and attempts to slay Dante, but the half-demon cuts his hand off and takes his life with his own sword. The blue demon is devastated to see this, so he wastes no time and activates the explosion which blows a hole in the plane, and all the captives fall out to their death. While in the air, Dante is still trying to continue his fight with the blue demon, but he escapes using his wind abilities and leaves Dante to deal with this predicament. The half-breed spots some parachutes to save at least 3 people, but the rest are still falling to their demise. In his desperation, Dante unleashes his trigger and fully transforms into a demon that gives him the ability to fly. He saves them all before they can be turned into mashed tomatoes, and then safely puts them on a building where Enzo is again captured by the government. The wind demon makes a turn back and attacks to avenge his brother, but he is no match for demon Dante, who speed blitz him and kicks him into a construction site. Dante pins him down and goes to town on his face, demanding to know where his necklace is, but the wind demon responds saying that the rabbit has it and he doesn't know where it is. We cut to Mary, who is trying to bypass the other 2 demons so she can make it to the top floor. Meanwhile, the backup squad have arrived and are preparing to enter as soon as the door opens since they have no means of getting past it. Back inside, Mary has found the room where a few of the experiments is taking place, and she is horrified by what she sees. One of the monsters begs for her to end his pain, so she does him the favor and places a bullet in his head. The shape-shifting demon appears in his human form, and Mary asks him how he made it out, and he attributes it to luck. She collects his gun and destroys the equipment and the rest of the test subjects. As the duo climb to the top floor, the shape-shifting demon calls the demon realm Makai, which gives his disguise away, so Mary opens fire, but he transforms back into a demon and injures her. All the ruckus alerts the female high-level demon to her location, so Demon Lady makes her way up there from the ground floor. When the shape-shifting demon is about to execute Mary, she tells him to hold on so that they can negotiate. She knows that the rabbit gave him the mission to infiltrate Darkcom, so she suggests that he should keep her alive, which will allow him to disguise as her since she has a much higher ranking than the guy he was impersonating. She convinces him that he will have access to information and places if he mirrors her image. The demon agrees and transforms into her, but all the while, the female demon has finally arrived and shoots who she thinks is Mary with her poisoned darts without asking any questions. However, it turns out to be the shapeshifter. This was Mary's plan all along, and as soon as she gets the opportunity, she collects her guns and shoots the lady demon with the deadly bullets which eradicates her. She patches up her injuries and then finds the security room hoping to catch the rabbit, but no one is there. She sees the backup team and decides to open the gate, but it opens without her pressing the button. She doesn't understand why this is happening, and as she looks at the screen, she sees that the walls in the entrance have bombs attached to them. Mary tries very desperately to warn them of the toasty trap waiting ahead, but the communication is still not working properly. One of them luckily hears Mary's warning, so he tells the others to fall back just as the bomb goes off. Communication seems to be fully working now, and she is informed that they suffered 2 casualties. However, the rest of the team is fine. She is glad to hear that they were not all wiped out. Lieutenant Mary makes an announcement to all the residents of the building and her backup team saying that she knows they pose no danger to humans. She says that she is aware they only came to this world to seek a better life, but they are instead being held captive by the White Rabbit. She tells them that her team are coming to rescue them and take them somewhere safe. One of the soldiers is confused as to why they are saving demons, so Mary explains that these demons are refugees and not combatants, and they also saved her life, so she owes them at least this much. She orders them to load all the refugees into the truck and take them to their headquarters where she will meet with them later. But in the meantime, she is going to the top floor to look for the rabbit. Elsewhere, Dante noticed the explosion and concludes that that must be where the rabbit is. He pauses his execution and heads towards that direction, but the wind demon follows him and tries to stop Dante, but they end up crashing into the top floor of the building. And when the wind demon is about to finish Dante off, Mary saves the half-breed by eliminating the wind demon with the special bullet. They follow the tracking device to where they believe the amulet to be, but they only find the chip inside a coffee cup with dolls around it, mocking how Mary's team were slain. A device begins to beep, and when it comes on, the rabbit is on the other side with Cavalier along with some other low-ranking demons. The rabbit orders Dante to meet him in half an hour. Otherwise, he will unleash his army into the city to wipe out all the humans. Mary tells him to shut his dirty, disgusting mouth because what he is saying doesn't make sense. She doesn't understand why he hasn't opened the portal yet, considering that he now has all he needs for his plan. She figures that the missing piece needed is Dante's blood, after learning that he is the son of Sparta. The rabbit actually requires Sparta's blood to complete his task, and that is why he was so desperate for Dante to transform. He tells Dante to meet him in 30 minutes and then ends the call. Mary sees a detective board that showcases the rabbit's plan. His mission wasn't just to collect the amulet, but his objective was to completely destroy Darkcom. All the while, Vice President Baines catches wind of the demon rescue mission of the innocent demon men, women, and children, and oh boy is he furious. He changes the order for the team to liquidate every single one of the demon refugees, so the soldiers carry their orders and do exactly what they are told. It turns out that the shape-shifting demon didn't die, so he turns back into the male soldier and makes his way to the security room where he sees the elimination of his fellow Machian people. He is deeply hurt by the barbarism showcased by the humans, so he activates all the explosives in the building which destroys it, including everyone that was inside, including himself and the other soldiers. Dante saves Mary as they leap out of the building, and the Vice looks on high in a helicopter pleased with the destruction. We get a flashback on how all of this happened. The White Rabbit is actually a human who was a bullied orphan child. Not only was he picked on by the other boys in the house, but whenever he made a mistake, His carers made sure to hand him a few backhands, and even though the social worker knew he was suffering neglect and cruelty, he turned a blind eye to it, leaving him to suffer in silence. His only way of escape was reading Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and one day as he read outside, a portal began to open, so he went to investigate. What was happening in front of him reminded him of the book, so he entered it. After all, what did he have to lose? His current life was not the best. However, as soon as he entered, the only way back home closed and he began to cough due to the toxicity in the air. But that was the least of his worries because stood behind him was a monster that was ready to eat him. He run and run, but was barely able to get away from the monster. However, the monster caught up, and as it was about to eat him, he was saved by a demon person. The boy fainted and the demon took him into their camp. When he woke up, he witnessed how they lived and the difficulties they faced. He was also accepted by them. For the first time in what seemed like forever, he experienced kindness and genuine friendship. He was shown how the much more powerful demons were exploiting the weaker demons and how their activities made the environment difficult for the average Macayan. One of his friends became seriously ill due to the atmosphere. She eventually succumbed to her illness, which made the boy extremely sad. He used this feeling to try and help the demons by building a device using a green stone he found while he was playing when he first arrived in Mackay. The boy, now a man, achieved his goal later down the years when he invented an equipment that was able to locate possible portal opening and used his device to tweak the frequency, allowing it to open. He led a few of the demons to Earth where the atmosphere was much better for survival. They made Earth their home and began to feel hopeful. They even had a hideout where they called home. However, things took a turn for the worse. When Mary and her team discovered their location, they followed a demon there and found 2 others, so they opened fire without asking any questions. Meanwhile, the man was in the demon world helping more people escape. He opened a portal while they were being chased by a demon monster. The portal led right to where Mary's team just took out the other demons, and the man couldn't believe his family were eliminated. The team surrounded them ready to fire, but Mary noticed that one of them was a human, so she ordered them to hold fire. The man explained that they mean no harm, all they want to do is get to safety. Although Mary was reluctant at first to listen to his explanation of why he is smuggling demons into Earth, she was open to it. And just as the man was begging Mary and her team to put the guns down for him to clarify, the demon monster passed through the portal and began to eat the other demons. So the soldiers opened fire and started taking out the man's family one by one as he watched on, hopeless and terrified, with tears running down his face. He too was hit in the shoulder, and when Mary saw that the monster demon was too much for them, she ordered her team to escape while she threw a bomb into the mouth of the monster. It exploded the whole building in a toasty fashion, however. The man emerged from the rubble to witness the complete destruction and the corpse of the friends he was trying to save. He began to weep, which soon turned into crazy laughter out of sheer pain of everything that happened. What he experienced is enough for anyone to lose the plot, and he most certainly did. This is when his deep hatred for Darkcom and humanity began. And this is when he developed the Tony Stark-like device to keep himself alive and then stitched the rabbit head onto his body. This is when he became the crazy White Rabbit. Back to the present, and the White Rabbit has entered Demon Realm to meet up with a particular demon who gave him the other half of the necklace. The demon was the one who disclosed the information that Dante would have the other piece of the amulet. The rabbit has come to collect the blood of Sparta's other son, which the demon has a sample of. A drop of it is poured onto the amulet to make sure it is the real deal, and there is a positive reaction. The demon explains that for the barrier to be destroyed, it needs the blood of the 2 brothers. Looking at the fact that this demon knows so much information, and him having Virgil's blood along with the other half of the necklace, the White Rabbit knows that the demon in front of him is none other than Dante's brother. All the while, Mary prepares to go fight the rabbit on her own. But Dante tells her that it is his responsibility as Sparta's son to bring an end to all this madness. However, Mary doesn't like the idea of Dante being anywhere near the rabbit, since it is Dante's blood he needs to break the barrier. So she shoots him in the leg and then throws him into the back of the van before making her way over to the meeting point after doing GTA to some dude's car. Meanwhile, at the location, the rabbit telephone calls Anders to do him one more favor. But then suddenly, Mary comes in flying with the car and uses it to defeat one monster who came in to intercept thinking it was Dante. She stands before all the demons including the rabbit and proposes a negotiation. She wants the bunny to call off the city attack and to hand her the amulet in exchange for Dante's life. She tells him that she has Dante trapped, and all she needs to do is press the button which will incinerate him, meaning that the rabbit wouldn't be able to get a DNA sample to break the barrier. The bunny concedes and gives her the amulet, and Mary turns around to walk away. The white rabbit notes that if she wasn't bluffing, then she would have pressed the button to incinerate Dante the moment she received the amulet. He speculates that maybe Mary has grown fond of Dante. Mary presses the button, but it only explodes the car. Now that the bunny knows that she was only bluffing, he orders his men to attack. She is so arrogant that she thinks she can take them all by herself. I mean, if I had the same level of plot armor as her, hell, I'd be arrogant too. But sadly for her, one of the monsters cuts her with a blade that is doused with a toxic which paralyzes her. He developed this poison so that he can use it against Dante, meaning that all they have to do is land one hit on Dante, which will give the rabbit enough time to extract the blood. As one of the monsters prepares to eliminate her, surprise, surprise, guess who comes to save her?
Chuck Norris?
No, stupid. Dante. Dante comes in clutch and dispatches a few of them. The rabbit is so excited to see him, and he shows Dante a portal to the other world where the king of the demons named Mundus, who had Dante's family eradicated, resides. He offers Dante a tour into his father's homeland, which has been destroyed by the selfish and evil Mundus. As soon as Dante enters, he finds it difficult to breathe, but the rabbit doesn't take advantage to cut Dante to draw out blood, but he instead kicks him back into the human world and explains how he invented a device that detects and prolongs the natural rips that appear at random. He has managed to save a lot of refugees, and his objective is to merge the two worlds. Even though millions of humans will die due to some of the bad demons coming over, the rabbit believes that this is necessary so that the people of the future can live in a world where both demons and humans can coexist. He tries to convince Dante to give up a drop of his blood willingly in this good cause of saving the Macayans, but the poison in Mary's body begins to wear off, so she tells him not to do it. She also warns him that the demon blades are doused with poison, so he should be careful. Since Dante is refusing to comply, the fighting begins, and he easily cuts them down without being touched. Cavalier joins the fight and manages to disarm Dante, but he does well to avoid all of Cavalier's strikes and then retrieves his blade. The fight is taken into the demon realm, where Dante struggles to fight them off. All the while, Mary has more or less recovered, so the white rabbit stops her in her tracks and finally reveals his true identity to her. She is shocked when she sees that he is the same man she and her team eliminated some time back. She cannot believe he is still alive. He tells her that it is all thanks to the healing properties of constant demon blood he has running through his body. His real objective is to get revenge against Darkcom and everything connected to it for eradicating his family. Mary feels very regretful for what happened that day, and the man lifts his sword to put an end to her. However, he stops when Dante emerges from the portal with Cavalier trying to pin him down. The half-breed unleashes a bit of his demonic powers and partially pushes Cavalier inside it. He then kicks the portal device which closes it, resulting in Cavalier dying by being chopped in half. The rabbit man loses it and begins to launch attacks at Dante, but the half-breed dodges everything and lands a punch that sends Rabbit Man to the edge of the roof. But Dante prevents him from falling when he holds him up by the necklace. The man warns Dante that what will happen next will be his fault, because it could have been prevented, so he wants Dante to remember this day. The rabbit man then cuts the string and falls into the water to his death. Not long after, Vice President Baines arrives along with Enzo and the rest of his men to assess the situation. As the special team look in the water for the rabbit man, he has already recovered and consumes the blood of a demon who is still alive. This enables him to transform into a huge, hideous monster. Meanwhile, the army are cleaning up the mess left by Dante and Mary. The two are talking, and she doesn't trust that Dante can protect the amulet, so she asks him to give it to him. He tells her that there is no one better than him to protect it, but she thinks Vice President Baines can do a better job. He strongly disagrees and believes that the guy doesn't even care for the soldiers who lost their life. However, Mary is quick to protect her boss and says that he cares very deeply for humanity. Little does she know that Baines only sees her as a weapon who is to be used as he deems fit. We see Anders walking around looking for something. His eyes finally latches onto the portal device, so he goes over to pick it up without anyone noticing. Baines walks over to Mary and asks about Sparta's sword, but she informs him that the rabbit had it when he fell into the river. Baines is disappointed to hear that she was unable to secure it, and when she is about to apologize for the annihilation of her team at the apartment block, he cuts her off saying that they were expendable anyway, which shocks Mary. He then asks about the amulet, and she is hesitant to tell him that Dante has it. So Dante says that the rabbit took that one too, and he would appreciate it if they could drop it off at his place if they managed to find it. Vice President Baines wants to confirm with Mary if that is the truth, so she lies saying it was hard to see since she was paralyzed. The half-breed looks to walk away when the Vice tries to get him to join their team, but he alerts his unit to take aim at Dante and orders Mary to take him into custody because they cannot allow someone with Dante's power to just walk away freely. As they prepare to engage him, the Rabbit Man interrupts in his new form, and the fighting begins. He dispatches a number of the soldiers, so Baines makes an escape with one of the helicopters. Anders is almost left behind, but they throw him a ladder and he too is saved. He climbs up to the top where he is met with a gun to the head and the portal device is confiscated. Baines reveals that he knew there was a mole after the amulet heist, so he had his team monitor every room in the Darkcom building and for every single call to be monitored too. Anders bursts out saying he had no choice because his daughters would have been kidnapped and eliminated if he didn't do exactly what the White Rabbit told him. Anders informs the Vice that the rabbit wanted him to destroy it so that it doesn't end up in human hands. Baines begins to talk crazy, saying that he will use the device to wage war against Hell, and at this point, Anders knows that his boss is a special type of crazy. He orders his men to push Anders off the aircraft so they shoot him in the shoulder as he falls into the water below. On the battlefield, Dante and Mary engage the monster while Enzo retreats to safety. As they do battle, she notices that Rabbit Man is shielding his core from being hit by the bullets, so she knows that that must be his weakness. More helicopters join the fight, and the monster destroys them all before hitting Mary into a stationary helicopter. He focuses on Dante so that he can retrieve the amulet. While exchanging sword clashes, the half-breed tries targeting the monster's core since Mary told him about Rabbit Man's weakness. But the monster notices this and throws Dante against a wall, which temporarily knocks him out. As he runs to finish Dante off, Enzo stands in front while wielding a weapon and goes for the attack, but he is fatally wounded and tossed aside. Dante is vexed that his guy is dead, so he activates a bit of his demon powers to fight the monster. But Rabbit Man also increases in power and punches Dante with a sonic punch that sends him flying through many buildings, which results in him being heavily injured. He is barely able to stand, and while the monster reaches out to collect his blood, Mary comes in with a helicopter and shoots a missile which gives Dante time to escape onto the aircraft. Rabbit Man isn't even scratched by that toasty explosion, so he leaps on top of the helicopter, which sends it crashing to the ground. Mary jumps out just in time, and as Dante falls, the amulet drops out from his pocket. The monster retrieves it and merges the sword with it. It then transforms into its true form. He informs the half-breed that all he now needs to do is merge the sword with Sparta's entire bloodline, which makes Dante laugh. He alerts the monster that it would mean that he also needs the blood of Virgil, who is dead. However, Rabbit Man enlightens Dante that his brother is very much alive. He drops Virgil's blood onto the blade, which turns it blue. He then dashes forward and pierces Dante with the sword. A part of his blood falls onto the weapon, marking the completion of the ritual. A burst of red energy blasts from it, and a beam of red energy shoots up into the sky, which breaks the barrier, so the demons from the other realm spontaneously appear, turning the whole world into chaos. Meanwhile, in the distance, Mary realizes that she has only one bullet left, and she sees an opening to shoot the Rabbit Man's core. She takes the shot just as he is about to land the finishing blow on Dante. The bullet hits its target, allowing Dante to free himself, while the monster struggles to stand up. Dante is motivated to live now that he knows that his brother is still alive. He removes his father's sword from his chest, and then transforms into his full demon form. He jets forward and lands the final blow, and then cuts the Rabbit Man right down the middle, which puts an end to his life. Dante removes the amulet from the weapon, which reverses everything and restores the barrier. After all that is over, he sits on the bridge talking with Mary about all that has happened. He lets her know that he is going to look for his brother since there is a chance he might be alive, so he asks her to join him if she wants. She agrees at first, and as they walk, the woman injects him with a concoction that knocks him out. She thinks that Baines is right about Dante being too dangerous just to be left to freely roam. Mary hears a blast in the far-off distance. We see that Baines has opened a portal and has ordered the army to fire, seeking missiles into it. The rockets spot the innocent demons and kills a number of them. Mary doesn't know very well what is going on, but looking at the expression on her face, we know she can sense that something evil is going on. Some time passes, and Dante is being held captive in a dark, calm laboratory with scientists conducting experiments on him. His amulet and father's weapon have been seized and are being sent to different locations. Meanwhile, the Americans continue the invasion, liberation of the demon realm, while also stealing their resources. The president addresses the nation to tell them that hell is real and that demons are real creatures who threaten the freedom of America, so there needs to be a war on demons. Elsewhere, at a demon detention center in the other world, a demon has come to rescue and free those held in captivity by the humans as a direct order from the demon king Mundus. He transforms into his human form, and oh my God, it is Virgil, Dante's brother. That brings the season to an end. Shout out to IrmaMidCPU6HL for keeping it toasty in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you can be in the next video.
Okay.